Thank you. We call on the Honorable Minister of Basic Education, Honorable Motshekga. And you have 9 minutes, Minister.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And let me also thank the members for the engaged participation in the debate. And one, Chair, and I always say that I refuse to be made to, when people start jumping Western Cape children are South African children. So we are not going to be alienated from them as if Western Cape carries other people's children. They are children like all other children, and we're not going to be comparing them with other kids to say other kids in other provinces in terms of meds, KZN is leading in terms of past. They're South African kids. And just, I think, disabuse yourselves on this Western Cape story. And sometimes, what is unfortunate, Chair, sometimes instead of looking forward to alternative policy views, we are forced to sit through empty noises, engaging with opposition, and just be tortured because you are forced to sit through, as I say, noises that you don't know where it's leading to. People debating about rumors, hearsay, unwilling to listen to things that are being said, not contributing meaningfully to debates on a very important endeavor such as education. Because what you look for when you engage with people who have a different view is to get a different perspective that enriches your view. Remember that I have, and he does it without failure. He's stuck in toilets. Ask him to debate, he's in the toilet. And you really look forward to say, this is your official opposition, they must have researchers, they must be talking something alternative. They'll be talking about local government tenders, which have no bearing to the debate at hand. And this is a parliamentary debate on the education budget. So that it would be very helpful to really talk about and really benefit from engagements, which I must admit that in some instances, you find them very helpful, you take notes and you go and inform the work that you do. For instance, I mean, there's been exciting reports on pills, and I thought as members or South Africans talking about education, we'll try to even understand what this thing is all about. And I really want to agree, and I'm very grateful to Member Boshoff to say, at some stage, let truth be told. Reading for meaning is not oral performance. And even if you say to people, linking symbols that M-A-N means man is not reading, to say man is going is not reading for meaning, it's something which is very highly cognitive, very complex, which we even analyze with neuroscientists to say what happens in the wiring of a child's brain or a person's brain when they read. It's a very sophisticated exercise. And I agree with him that what is very helpful for us as South Africa is to unpack, to say, what does it mean in our journey for development? For instance, Chair, I agree with you. The importance of mother tongue instruction, you can't underestimate, because PILS also confirms it. It confirms that when kids learn in the language, they are comfortable, not because they understand the language. Their brain cells are relaxed, they are happier, and therefore they're able to process information, which is the case for mother tongue instruction. So which means we have to accept as a country that indeed we have to promote African languages to make sure that the majority of learners who are not studying in African languages are being taught in their language. You also have to agree again, Chair, that, and also agree again with members, to say, and agree, perhaps accept the guilt that there's been an overemphasis of English. The Eastern Cape conducted a very comprehensive study on mother tongue instruction, and the results were very encouraging. Children who were taught in Xhosa performed better in maths, performed better in science, even in English Nogal, that their English performance was even better, because a language is not just for a combination of words, but it's also an instrument through which we are able to process information. And that's why in PILS, when you study PILS, you also find that isiXhosa performed better than other African languages. So the member is right that kids were exposed also or were expected to be assessed in a language whose symbols they've not used in the past. So we must say, I think in order, comrade, such a comrade, comrade, member, Uguti, really, we have to agree that we have to promote the teaching of African languages and promote them as languages of learning. For instance, peers amongst others indicate that, for instance, in Setswana and Xhosa, the performance is low, and we have to investigate to say, why is performance in Zulu and in Xhosa doing very well? What is it, what is different about those languages? And moving forward, I think it should be very helpful to make sure that these Bennies and Betties here come down and we talk with them as Tepo and Rato to say, what is it that we're doing to take forward our children? What is also very important also about the relevance of peers is that, Member Bishop, that you also raise also, which I also say it's not about pronunciation, enunciation, and attitude in speaking languages. It's to be able to get clear ability to demonstrate logical thinking, coherence, associations, and operating at a high cognitive level. And sometimes listening here, I can see that most of us would even have failed with in the PILS exam. There's no coherence, there's no logic. So if we're all supposed to write the PILS, guess because there's just no coherence that you really hear. So I read even the concept of 30%. I just think also people are running around even talking things that are not there. I don't want to remember Imran because I'm going to run out of time. The question of infrastructure. Indeed, as a minister from a big department, I sit in the committee of ministers with budget. I know exactly how much the state collects, and I know I can only give it to treasury, not to parliament. They're the only people who can give me money. But sitting on the Mincom budget, I know that for infrastructure, we need about 100 billion. And sitting on the Mincom budget, I know that it's not possible to have it now. So it's to say, what else do we do in the meantime? So we're a developing country. We don't have lots of money and lots of other things. So I think it would be very helpful, and I really ask with all humility and respect that, and I'm not saying people should not do it in a member because that when you come here, it's governing bodies and other things. Let's talk about the debate. At some stage, as fellow South Africans, let's talk about high level educational matters. Let's hear what is your perspective. And I promise you, we will always respect, helpful. I'm telling you. And the other matters, there's a member also from the IPO had said certificate this and that. That's an administrative matter. Sisi, just give me the name of the person. I promise you tomorrow I'll tell you where the certificate is. If there's anything that we're efficient with, it's in the exam section. So don't worry about it. So I'm really grateful that we really have had the opportunity to debate and want to repeat. Our kids can read. They can combine M and A to mean man. But very many of them, like many of us here, are not able to operate at a cognitive level where we're coherent, we're systematic, we can make references, and that's why they're not passing. And instead of being condemned, Chair, I think we should be commended as this government for being a courageous government. We are the only 3 countries in the continent that participate in PILS. The question is why? Why have other people run away from PILS? It was Morocco, Egypt, and ourselves. As a party
Thank you, Minister. Your time is
that had
expired.
for liberation, will fight also in PILS, and we're going to succeed.